Well, that was a pretty goofy intro, huh? I guess I should apologize for that. Sometimes I just get carried away with my incredibly great editing skills. But anyway, hope you enjoyed that. I know it was pretty silly. But anyway, welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's good to have you here today. It is another beautiful day in South Texas. If you don't mind living in an oven, I know a lot of you guys are also experiencing the similar heat wave as we are. About the only good thing that I've seen come out of this heat wave so far is a resurrection of a lot of good old dad jokes. Here we go. How hot is it outside? It's so hot the cows are giving evaporated milk. How hot is it outside? It's so hot the chickens are laying hard-boiled eggs. How hot is it outside? The birds are having to use pot holders to pull worms. How hot is it outside? Seat belts have become branding irons. How hot is it outside? Now we're getting hot water out of both taps. How hot is it outside? And you have to think about this one. The trees are whistling for the dogs. Okay, there you go. That's the good part of it. Some hawk is unhappy there. One thing I've noticed, besides all the heat and the dad jokes and all that stuff this summer, is that... Okay, are you done? One thing I've noticed this summer is that our fawn crop is greatly reduced from what we used to see. Where we'd usually see 10, 15 little babies running around here, we see about 3 now. So that's very disturbing, and there's 4 reasons that are happening all at once. This is kind of a perfect storm to run the deer out of here this year. And the number 1 reason is the extreme heat and drought that we're seeing right now. Last month was the hottest May on record in this area, and they've been keeping records for over 137 years. And this month, June, will also be the hottest June ever recorded as well. And on the drought chart, that's us right there in the middle of the state in the dark brown area, labeled as exceptional. And that's one thing you don't want to qualify as being exceptional. The does like to drop their babies in dense, lush cover. And you can see this baby from last year. And if you'll notice all the nice green grass all around him, even the pasture back behind him has thick, lush green grass in it. And all the trees are loaded with leaves. And I went outside and took this video of the same exact area. And if you compare that same area right now, there's very little grass where that little deer is. There's very little grass in the pasture, and what is out there is not green. And if you look at the leaves, they are very, very sparse this year. The second thing that can run deer out of their habitat is predators. And with the lack of food available to these predators due to the heat, they are spending a lot more time out on the prowl. The hogs are destroying more and more habitat daily, and just like coyotes and wild dogs, they too will kill the baby fawns. And you see this big monster right here. 2 days after I had to kill that big boar we call China because he tried to attack me, a new dominant boar moved into the scene, and we call this one Pirate. And I know you guys told me not to name wild animals because you get endeared to them, but how could I not call him Pirate? He's only got 1 eye. I think I'll get him a patch. And talking about eye patches and pirates and peg legs, our old broken leg buddy here is still evading capture. However, 2 of these 3 pregnant sows that I was trying to get rid of have been removed. I still have a couple of big boars on the place that really need to go, because these guys do nothing but drive the deer back further into the wood. The coyotes have really taken a toll on the small animals around here. The rabbits, virtually non-existent right now. The numbers of possums and skunks and other small mammals are also on the decline as well. Everything's starving. And the last thing we need is people not keeping their dogs pinned up. Free running dogs run through here chasing deer all the time. This one in particular, who looks like my old dog Bud, comes through here, and we've got video of him killing deer out here going back to 2020. So that's frustrating too. So not only do the predators in the extreme heat situation cause problems with the population of the little whitetail babies, but also competition for turf. We are now seeing an increase in the axis deer populations, and though I was really happy to see them back, the timing could not be worse. I don't know that this ranch can even support, food-wise, can even support the white-tailed deer, much less the bigger axis deer too. And I apologize for the pink pictures there. One of the game cameras has a stuck infrared filter, and despite me whacking that thing all the time, I still can't seem to knock it loose. And the fourth thing, I think I said there were four, didn't I? Didn't I say that? Four things. The fourth part of this perfect storm, white-tailed deer like a nice, peaceful, quiet habitat, solitude. That's what they like best. You always think of white-tailed deer and you think of a little peaceful animal in a peaceful setting. Well, this is no longer all that peaceful. Sadly, my neighbor seems to be destroying everything in sight. The beautiful, huge live oak trees that used to line the creek are all now gone. If you'll look down to the left, you'll see where the creek used to run and flow. It was lined by all these beautiful trees that have been turned into these giant mounds of mulch. And you can tell the path of the creek. It goes straight ahead here and then turns 90 degrees to the right. All you have to do is follow the piles of mulch. And it's hard to appreciate exactly how tall these piles of mulch, once beautiful oak trees, are. But if you realize the tires on these tractors are taller than a man's head, that'll give you a little bit of an idea how big those piles of mulch are. They destroyed hundreds of beautiful oak trees. And right here, they're converting a beautiful meadow into a future subdivision, carving deep roads into the rich, fertile soil. And on the other side of the creek, where a beautiful forest once stood, the land's pretty much scraped clean now, and roads just kind of snake across it. And all of this noise and commotion and habitat destruction has pretty much sent all the wildlife fleeing. Can you imagine if your whole neighborhood was just totally destroyed? Can you imagine if your food and water sources were all destroyed? Can you imagine if giant machines were just coming through and just destroying everything you ever knew? Everything you loved and everything you depended on was gone. Well, sadly, I'm afraid all the people in Ukraine could relate with that very well. And also, sadly, it seems like the interest in the war in Ukraine is not as high as it used to be. It's almost like it's second page news now. Even Johnny and Amber get a better billing than the war in Ukraine. And those Ukrainians are people just like you and me. I've heard a lot of people say, well, they're heavy into drug trafficking and human trafficking and biological weapons production and all this kind of stuff. And I just kind of want to say, have you not been paying attention to what happens right here within the continental boundaries of the United States? We are no angels either. All the world has its problems. Ukraine is just like the rest of us. They are basically just like us. But anyway, the economy that we're having right now, the economic problems that we're having right now, these things are temporary. And I hear a lot of people say we shouldn't be sending money to Ukraine because we can't even take care of ourselves here in this country. Well, let me tell you one thing. We could if we spent our money correctly. Our government wastes so much money, it is insane. We have enough money here, and we have the ability to end world hunger. We have the ability to take care and police the world if we really wanted to, if we just did not spend our money ridiculously like we do. So the cure is right there by you. Every one of you is sitting at a computer or a phone right now, and you have in your hand the ability to contact your congressman, congresswomen, who the head of state is in whatever country you live in, and tell them to quit squandering our money, spend it wisely, take care of our brothers and sisters on the other side of the world, and do what you're supposed to do. Be the person we elected, not the person you've become. Okay, off the soapbox. Basically, God put us here to take care of one another. We need to continue to do so. Not just only the people in Ukraine, but also all of us here completely around the world. We need to take care of everyone. A little kindness, like Princess Anna says, goes a long, long way. And once again, to those of you who are struggling with this economic problem that we're having, this runaway inflation, lack of jobs, all this kind of stuff, housing so expensive, what you have to realize is that economic crises are always temporary. We've been through these before. We will get through this one. It's just a very frustrating and very tough time. And to kind of sum it all up, most of you who are middle-aged or older, like me, we've all been through this before, and we survived it. So I jotted down a few notes just to kind of let some of you younger folks who may be intimidated or scared about the future, just to let you know this is temporary. So here we go. I live in a nice big house, but there were times when I had to sleep in my car. I fed 86 people in my house one time, but there have been nights where I went to bed hungry. I've got a nice car that cost as much as many houses used to cost, but there were also times when I had to walk to work or hitch a ride. I have a very expensive suit, but I also remember the time one of my best friends gave me a coat because I had none. My wife and I are retired right now. We live a comfortable life, and we'll probably be able to withstand this recession. But I remember times when she and I both worked multiple jobs just to put food on the table. So folks, those of you who are worried about your financial situation, just be strong, work hard, and know this too shall pass. Well, folks, that's about it from out here on the ranch today. I apologize for bringing up politics and religion. I know you're not supposed to do that, but that was pretty heavy on my heart, so I appreciate you hanging with me on that. One thing I would like to ask you to do, I would really, really, really appreciate it if you would think of someone who is like-minded, like you and I, please share this video with them. I think this video needs to be shared. So if you would do me that one little favor, I would certainly be indebted to you. So please just share it if you would. Thank you so much for being here today. It means a lot to me. I just love your comments, and I just love the positivity of this channel. Please share this video, and I want you to always remember I love you. Bye-bye now. So what you doing there, Al?
Neutering a dog, Dad.
All right. Who's gonna learn you?
That's a mistake.